Okay. Good morning, everybody. Today we're going to focus on Amandine Saval, who's with us today, and we're so excited. Amandine, we really appreciate you being here. For those of you who don't know Amandine, and you soon will know her, she is from Lyon, France. She's taking over one of the best, probably the best consulting company in the world, ECOR. It's an institute for the socioeconomic approach to management, consulting, and coaching as well. And they've worked with over 2,000 organizations around the world, and they're one of our pillars. We call them the pillars of our approach here in the United States. With the Growth OD, we're attempting to do SEAM here or continue it. I taught it for 20 years at New Mexico State University, and I taught Amandine one of her first classes in SEAM. She passed. She was excellent. Then she taught me a class in SEAM much later, and I kind of did okay. But Amandine Saval, we're here to hear from you and whatever you want to share with us, and we'll have some questions for you if that's okay. I know you can spend about an hour, and then
Yes.
we'll let you go on to your next event. So without further ado, Amandine Saval.
Well, thank you, everyone, and especially for adapting the time of this meeting, because I know that you are used to meet an hour later, right, at 5 p.m. my time. But given the little kids, I had to start at 4, so to be able to leave at 5. So thank you for your agility. So I think I know David, Grayson, and Wanda. I don't know the others, but nice to meet you. I have prepared some slides to try to explain you what we do at ECOR and what is the SEAM theory and methodology that we've been developing over the last 50 years, because this year is our 50th anniversary. David and Grayson were in Lyon in June to celebrate the first part of their anniversary, and we are about to celebrate the second part in November here with our practitioners. So I'll try to. Can you see what I'm sharing?
They can.
Okay. So I'm not really used to monologue. So if you want to interrupt, if something is not clear, please do. And I can answer some questions or along the presentation. So what is ECOR? So ECOR was looking like this until a month ago. Then we have moved our offices after 40 years of living in this building. So David and Grayson, you know this building, I think. And I'm sure you will know the new one next year if you manage to attend. So we are localized in Lyon, France. We are 30 people, permanent employees here at ECOR, and we have a network of 50 plus consulting partners over the world, including the US, America, Asia, Africa, Middle East, and all over Europe. We have trained more than 650 researchers here in SEAM. And on November 4th, we are having a big meeting with 240 doctors, PhDs, and DBAs that did their doctoral journey here in our research center. 150 active client organization per year. This is to give you an overview, sorry. for the numerous organizations that we help every year. But I don't see you anymore. Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes.
And you can see me or my presentation?
I can see it just needs to be maximized.
Okay.
I
A
can
little
see
larger.
both. I can see you and this and your screen.
Yeah.
I will
If we can
try.
make it larger, that would be helpful.
I will try to.
Okay.
So yes, so I was telling you that this is to give you
Okay.
an overview of the number of organizations that we help every year, but
Mhm.
taking into account that 7 or 8 organizations out of 10 will follow the first program of SEAM methodology. So there is a redundancy of our client organizations.
Mhm.
So we have helped more than 150,000 managers and employees. If you collect the different sizes of organizations that we have helped, and 26 years of partnership with the management consulting division. I think Wanda is, yes, Carl?
What does ISEOR stand for?
Institute of Socioeconomic, no, it's Socioeconomic Institute of Organizations. So, but in France, you start with, in French with institute. So,
Okay, thank you very much.
so I was myself the management consulting. I'm a past chair of this division as well at the Academy of Management, and we are many here to be or to have been included in the ISODC board for the one who knows this organization, which reflects to more than 2 million hours of intervention research within the organizations. We help many different organizations from 72 industries. The size is very variable, coming from 2 people to 30,000 people. So we have tried and we succeeded to develop theory, an organizational theory that is beyond the size and the industry of the company and the organization itself. So we have 4 main activities in our research center. The first, of course, what I just presented is the interventions in real organizations. We also have many programs of professional development trainings. The training that David was talking about and he attended with Grayson a few years ago. We publish in the scientific journals, books, and conferences. And we also teach in higher education at the undergrad, graduate, and also doctoral level. The idea of these 4 activities is to create actionable knowledge through our interventions in the organizations, and then to disseminate those results for the academia through professional training, teaching in higher education, but also the publications. That is very important in our field of research. So what were the 2 main origins of SEAM? So SEAM was founded in 1975 by my dad, Henry Saval, based on 2 observations, 2 gaps within 2 fields of research. The first one, which was traditional accounting, because my dad was a traditional accountant from his first background, And he realized that the traditional accounting system couldn't explain the performance variation between two organizations. So if you take two organizations that are on the same industry, in the same market, they employ the same number of people, you can have two very different performance levels. So traditional accounting will never tell you why one will succeed and the other will fail. And also the second gap was in macroeconomics theories, because the first PhD of my dad was in macroeconomics, where there was a lack to explain the residual in the production function. And I will explain it a bit more in the second slide. David, Grace, and Rhonda, if you think that I'm too fast or not understandable, please interrupt me. So we we do have a database, what David said in the introduction, of 2,400 organizational cases in 48 countries and 72 industries. This is our database of interventions that we have carried out over the last 50 years. So this double origin of SEAM relies in a double rejection. So first rejection, for those who are familiar with economic theories, is this function of production. Basically, all economists, from Keynesian to liberal to Marxist economic theories, they all say that the production is based on two main factors, capital and labor, but those two factors only explain 50% of the level of production of an organization or a territory. So there is this R letter, which reflects a residual. It stands for residual, and this residual wasn't explained in all these traditional economic theories. The other rejection is the accounting model, that is not so relevant to help decision making, since it only focused on visible cost and performance and not hidden mechanisms that are behind the accounting traditional model. So what my dad did 50 years ago was to formulate two hypotheses. The first one was, okay, instead of focusing on economic theories such as capital and labor factors, let's say that capital is only a tool, and the only unique active factor of value creation would be the human potential and not necessarily the labor, because labor refers to the amount, the volume of labor, whereas he decided to formulate the hypothesis of human potential, which is something that is not that you cannot own by yourself. It's not that you hire someone and you have this labor factor within the organization. You hire someone, and this is just the beginning of revealing his human potential, and the management system should reveal this human potential and turn it into value creation. The second hypothesis was that accounting and financial models are not perfect. We need them. We still need them to make sure that the company is in good health, economically speaking, but we need to find a way to reduce this imperfection. And based on those two hypotheses, he created a new hypothesis with a new concept that was hidden cost and performance. So hidden cost and performance to first reveal the human potential and turn it into value creation, and also to reduce the imperfection of the accounting traditional model. So based in our 2000 plus interventions, here is a very simple synthesis of our scientific discoveries. First of all, first discovery, any organization has a level of dysfunctions. And we were able in our database to categorize more than 5,400 types of different dysfunctions. Dysfunctions can be something that doesn't go well, but also something that goes well but could go better if we do it in another way. So dysfunctions, if you go back to the etymology of dysfunctions, this means a gap between the desired functioning of organization and the actual functioning of the organization. And when you are able to identify those dysfunctions, you are able to calculate the economic impact of those dysfunctions that we can call hidden costs and performance. And based in our database, we were able to calculate that hidden cost according to the context and the different organization range from 20,000 to 70,000 euros, or a little bit more in dollars, US dollars, per person and per year. This level of dysfunctions and hidden costs that are both two sides of the same coin decrease at the same time two types of performance. The social performance, because clients and employees are not satisfied with the functioning of the organization. And at the same time, there is a loss of resources, economic resources, that is misused within the companies. If we develop the steering system or the management system of the company with a more socioeconomic model, we are able to reduce the volume of dysfunctions and recycle the hidden cost into value creation. And what we mean by steering, we have defined what we call steering by three mechanisms. First, the stimulation of human behaviors and human competences. So we need to stimulate human beings to produce this value. Once they are very stimulated, we need to synchronize them because they will go all over the places and not in the same direction. So the steering and management system within the company need to be a synchronization system. And also the cleaning up system. Cleaning up means that some practices are not, when they were decided or implemented within the organizations, at that time were not necessarily dysfunctional. But over time, they can become dysfunctional because we don't clean our practices and we keep doing the same things without reflecting on how to improve our way of functioning. So cleaning up is very important. If I can give you a concrete example, what we observe in our client organizations is that sometimes a new meeting is needed, a new type of meeting is needed within the organization, but while they create this new type of meeting, they don't cancel another type of meeting that has become useless. So they will just pile up. Does it make sense? Pile up. They will just pile up so many different types of meetings that will be at the end a dysfunction and a hidden cost because a lot of time will be devoted to useless meetings. How do we install and implement this steering system? We have designed and co-built a few management tools within the client organizations that are very simple and interconnected to deal with human nature. We have a very rigorous assessment of the outputs of our interventions, and the organization that succeeds in implementing a new steering system that is more social and economic balanced, they succeed in recycling 35 to 55% of the initial amount of hidden costs that were identified into more added value at the end. That is to say that we usually assess the investment they have made in terms of fees, but also the time they are devoting to the change process. And when you compare the investment to the return on investment, they invest €1 and they get between 2 to 40 euros back within this socioeconomic change process. Just to give you a typology of the hidden cost theory. So if you take the budget of the turnover organization, there are 3 types of hidden costs that you could find within the budget of organization. The first could be the overages. I don't know in the US, but in France, you will pay wages, salaries to people that are not actually working. So for instance, in some organizations, you pay them where at home when they're sick, you still pay them. Or when they leave the company, you pay them an extra salary for leaving the company. So some part of the wages are hidden costs, and another part, of course, is for the good functioning because you need to pay people. But we are talking about the part of the wages that are not creating value. They are also over. Yes, Carl?
I'm sorry. Do you also look at the cost of employee disengagement? You know, they show up, but they're not really engaged. I thought that might be part of it.
Yes, we will see it, especially in the excess of time and the non-production or non-income
Thank you.
part. Of course, disengagement is a very bad dysfunction that we observe in many organizations due to poor management practices. So the idea is how to build and develop an exciting and stimulating management system that will try to convince people to be more engaged. Sometimes some people, it's too late. I mean, they were disengaged for such a long time that the cost of being more engaged is too high for them, so they wouldn't be willing to engage. But we have observed that so many people can be very simply engaged by better management practices and stimulation system. So overconsumption basically is the misuse of so many consumptions. It's like but again, it's a sort of disengagement. If you don't care, or if you're mad at your manager, you don't look at the light on that is still on in your office when you leave the office, and you leave it on. So let's say that all the small dysfunctions that we can see in an organization have an economic impact, and the idea is to find a management system and an intervention process to use this hidden cost as a treasurer to find a new way of self-financing. Well, this is very technical. Maybe I will not go into too much detail about it, but the idea is what you need to remind is hidden costs are not 100% recyclable. It's there is this big potential, financial potential, and this is a deposit where we can go find new ways of self-financing our strategy and improve the performance, but there will always be a level of hidden cost that is not recycled, and it's not a big deal. I mean, SEAM is not a quality, total quality system such as other models where we want to erase and cancel all hidden costs. This is not the purpose of SEAM. So the purpose of SEAM is to make people realize that what they have in their hands is enough to do what they want to do in their job and professional day-to-day. So, big discovery, 53% of the dysfunctions and hidden costs are due to the lack of cooperation. So it's not some individuals doing badly their job. Is a lot of very good individuals that are very good in their jobs, but they are unable to cooperate together. And most of the hidden costs are at the interface between two people or two groups of people, not within one person itself. And we have been observing for 50 years what we have called the TFW virus. TFW standing for T as Taylorism. I don't know if you know Frederick Taylor, the American engineer. The Fayol, Henry Fayol was a French engineer as well. And Weber, Max Weber, was a German sociologue. Those three very important people in their time have developed management practices and organizational theories, but that have become obsolete over the decades and centuries. So the problem is that we are still teaching those principles to our young students in higher education. So first principle that we still teach and has become obsolete is hyper-specialization. So we are training people that, and we are teaching them that the more specialized they will be, the more performant they will be. But this is without assuming that we need people to cooperate to create value. It's not one individual performance that is at stake, but how two people or more people cooperate within the same goal and the same direction. The second principle that we have observed and is very infecting our organizations is the split between design and execution. We all believe very deep in ourselves that some people are too smart to do things and they should think for the others, and some people are too dumb to think by themselves and they should just execute what others will tell them. So that's why, and I'm sorry for the marketing specialist that maybe some of you are, but that's why we have developed so many marketing departments. Marketing was just what we call, in SEAM, we call them the intellectuals of the sales force. But if the sales force were actually thinking about the products, the price, and all the marketing system that they need to sell better, we wouldn't need any marketing department. We would just have a complete sales force that is comprehensive. So, but same for R&D. We have decided that production and research and development departments should be separate departments within organizations. But this is directly the virus. And if you look at in our database, the amount of hidden costs and dysfunctions at the interface between those different departments is huge. And last but not least, the last principle is the depersonalization of the organization and its processes. I don't know in the US, but in France, we're still obsessed with the job descriptions. It's not in my job description. I'm not doing it because it's not in my job description. Or he should be doing this because this is in his job description. So we are trying to rationalize what people should do or do at work, but without without a concrete base of what they know, what they should know, and how they want to evolve. And maybe two people that are apparently doing the same job should have different job descriptions, because one is a very good marketer and the other is very good in collecting the money from the client. But no, we said that the salesman should just sell their products. So there is a more comprehensive way of considering people at work that should be considered, and this is not the case. So the good thing is the virus is infected. We are all infected by the virus. It's more powerful than COVID-19. But what we need is the antidote to reduce this level of infection. And I will not go into AI, but we observe here with our client organizations that AI is actually increasing the level of virus within the organizations. So what those three, so Taylor, Fayol, and Weber, what they ignore in their theory is what we have observed of the 5 features of human nature at work. What we have observed is that every single human being is naturally intelligent. This is not true that some people are intelligent and others are not. Some people are educated and others not, but the intelligence, the fact to be smart, is something that is within each one of us and each one of them, and should be considered as a potential. I'm always very shocked. We look a lot with hypermarkets, big supermarkets, and the women at the cashiers, the one they make you pay at the end, and they are always so misconsidered by the managers, saying, no, we cannot show them the value added number because they don't know about the number. They are not good at numbers. They cannot understand this because this is too complicated for them. They are not educated, and so on and so on. But those same women have 5 kids at home, and they're actually very good CEO at home. And it's not the husband managing their money at home or managing the different tasks at home. But, it's like we are putting people as, we are being schizophrenic. We don't consider that what people can do at home, they could do it at work as well. So this is, I think, one aspect of the considering that everyone is intelligent. Everyone also has a strategy. This is also very true. What we have observed that Sometimes it's a bad strategy. Sometimes it's a not so ambitious strategy, but still everyone has in mind to go from A to B or from A to C, and ignoring the fact that some people have a strategy is a bad management practice, because you need to play with people's strategy in order to make them engage in your organizational strategy. It's not by ignoring their strategy that they will engage more. No. Also, the actors, everyone is an actor. It's not that some people are fake and others are sincere. We are all faking sometimes, and we are all being more sincere in other contexts. When I talk to my boss, I'm not telling him the same that when I talk to my colleague, and I'm not telling my colleagues the same that what I will tell my husband tonight. So, you know, it's a theater, and we should use this theater in management as well. And decomplexing, you know, not having so much complex about being actors. It's a good thing. We're actors, and it's a good news. My two little kids will tell you a lot about this one. Disobedient. It starts at 6 months, 4 months old. You tell them not to cry, and they cry. You tell them not to be so loudy in the plane, and they start yelling. And you tell them not to touch this, and they will touch it as soon as you turn your head. So disobedient is part of human beings. And I think in personal life, we accept it, but at work, we don't accept it. And this is a mistake. We should recognize that there is a disobedience capacity in each professional. And if we negotiate more with people and with our employees, they will be able to be more obedient when we want, if we negotiate with them some context or some parts of their job where they can be disobedient and where they can do what they want. So this is also very important. The fifth one. Actually, the first four were observed from the very beginning 50 years ago. This one, amnesiac, I think was really for us shocking over the past 15 to 20 years when the digitalization and all these information systems were very much developed within the organizations. 20 years ago, people were lacking, managers and employees didn't have enough access to relevant information. The problem is today is the opposite. We have too much information to deal with, and we don't know how to keep memory of it. Human memory. I'm not talking about digitalized memory. And so our head, our sanitary head do the cleaning by himself. So we forget some things that we shouldn't, and we keep memory of things that maybe are not relevant. So amnesiac is something that has become very natural and should be very taken into account in our management practices as well. When you have to repeat 3 or 10 times to your employee something, maybe he's not just playing you. Maybe he has actually forgot what you told him, and this is something to be considered in management. So if we say that these human characteristics, they are what they are active assets, and we need to use them in our management to make sure that this potential is transformed into value added. And instead of seeing the organization, as constrained by its environment, we could see our organization has a set of a lot of human potential that we need to manage and stimulate in order to have offensive strategies in our environment. What we mean by revealing human potential means the adequate competencies to do the work we need them to do. We need also to develop their cooperative behaviors, not individualistic behaviors, but we need actually to show people how to cooperate with their colleagues and other teams. This is not natural. This is not true that cooperation is natural. What's natural is conflict. And I can tell you again, as being the mother of two little kids, you let them by themselves in the same room from 10 minutes and they fight. And they need a grown-up to make them cooperate. It's not that they don't like each other, because they actually love each other. But while they are hugging, they can also be fighting at the same time. So we need managers and good managers to make people cooperate and having cooperative behaviors. This is very important also when it comes to human productivity, because a lot of productivity losses are due to the lack of cooperation and people who are not cooperating. We can see so many good professionals, they do good jobs, but since they are not connected to their colleagues, their job is useless. If I take again this example of the marketing department, they could do the very good pricing system, very intelligent pricing system, a good engineering system. But if it's not connected to the actual salesman who will implement this pricing system has no value. I mean, the idea of the pricing has no value. What will be creating value is having salesmen engaged to actually implement this pricing. So the cooperation between people is key in the change process that we implement with our client organizations. Yes, David?
Oh, I want to respect your time, and the hour is just about up. Can we ask some questions?
Yes, of
If
course.
you have more to present, go ahead. But
I have more to present, but well, it's a endless discussion. I
well,
can
we
do
love
this.
SEAM. We love SEAM very much. I was wondering if you could explain a little bit about the three pillars of SEAM: cognitive interactivity, contradictory intersubjectivity, generic contingency. And I'll just preface it. I observed you work with a doctoral student at the 50th anniversary, and you were sharply teaching this doctoral student about generic contingency. So I was wondering if you could explain one or all of these pillars, please.
Mm-hmm. So what we say is that SEAM. So SEAM is a theory, but is also a scientific approach, scientific methodology that is based on three epistemological pillars, in the sense that they are very important to understand the overall system of SEAM. So the first pillar is cognitive interactivity. This means that their management purpose, the management system, practices, or even the managers, the people who actually manage, their work is to make the shift between individual intelligence to collective intelligence. And this process from individual to collective intelligence is, we use a metaphor, gas, liquid, solid. So people have a lot of gas in their head, so ideas and good ideas, but also bad thoughts. And what we need is to make them speak and express what they have in mind through talking, just simply talking. So this talking phase, we call it liquid, in the metaphor. So going from gas to liquid, you liquidify the gas by expressing what you have in mind. And then you transform. When people talk, you take notes on a flip chart or on a paper, simple paper, and you make it solid. And the difference between gas, liquid, and solid is the stability concept. Gas is very unstable. So what people think is very unstable. They think about something at 8 a.m. and 10 minutes after something happened in their mind, or they talk to someone and they have changed their mind. So gas are very unstable. So we need to make people talk, because liquid is a little bit more stable, but still less stable than solid. So by using this loop of gas, liquid, solid, and the other way around as well, so making people reflect on something solid to make them talk, and then it creates new idea. So this process is called cognitive interactivity, because when two people talk to each other and listen to each other and use this gas, liquid, solid cycle, it creates a cognitive sparkle that we could call collective intelligence. David, do you want to do the two others?
Oh, it's up to you. I mean, I've been trying to find out a really good definition, and you just gave it to me because so much of it is in French. And I'm trying to translate it. But yeah, the intersubjectivity I understand pretty well. Generic contingency is a tougher one, I think.
So the second pillar is based on the first one. So interactive connectivity will lead to the second pillar, which is what we call contradictory intersubjectivity. In many sciences and even in management theories, the mainstream tries to make you believe that there is objectivity and subjectivities, and that some people are more objective on some aspects and others are too subjective. What we have observed by being within the organizations is that there is no objectivity. And fulfilling the dream of objectivity is a process by mixing and hearing all the different stories. And I think this is what really connects us with David and Grayson with the storytelling theories, that hearing the stories, everyone's stories, is hearing and giving an acknowledgement of subjectivity has a weight, and it's not something bad. Everyone has his subjectivity. And by having this big picture on the same table of all the subjectivities will bring you more objectivity, but you will never reach it. Objectivity doesn't exist. It's like cooperation is not natural. this is another discovery. Objectivity doesn't exist. And that's why we've been fighting a lot with engineers. You know, when we work with engineers, they don't understand this aspect of SEAM. And the third pillar is generic contingency. This was for us very important to demonstrate that in each situation, that could be the situation of an organization, the situation of a team, the situation even of a family. In each human situation, there is a part of contingency and a part of generic knowledge. Generic knowledge means that some aspects are similar to another situations, and that we can use the lessons learned from the other situation to use in this specific situation. So there are some invariants, so variables that don't vary from 2 or 3 or several situations. But there are, at the same time, in the same situation, there are some specific aspects that cannot be compared to another situation. So if I take David and Grayson, we can say they are both human beings. They are both vegans. They both love storytelling and horses. But there is a man and there is a woman, and there is one who was born here and the other who was born there, and their families were different. One was maybe very rich and the other was not so rich. So, but still there are invariants that make them similar, and we can say that maybe to manage Grayson, I can use some ingredients that will work with David as well, but still there are some ingredients that will need to be adapted to one another. I don't know if I made my explanation clear.
It was magnificent. It's the clearest explanation I've ever seen in the literature or anywhere else. Thank you. Appreciate it. You've been with us an hour, so I want to respect your time.
I can maybe just finish with the 5. Yeah, I did the 3 slides to conclude, and I said if I want them to remember 3 key messages, it will be it. So our mission at EasyOR is to have a scientific approach to consulting and to management by having a very rigorous methodology and having a double impact on practice to help the organizations, our client organizations, to reach their goals and improve their performance. And this is a very important engagement that we have towards those organizations. And at the same time, we have a rigorous methodology to create new relevant knowledge that will be maybe generic knowledge to be published in scientific journals. And this double target is very important in our mission. The difference between intervention research and traditional consulting, this is how I sum it up. So transforming the traditional client-supplier relationship into a balanced and mutual respectful relationship. So we call them client organizations, but we don't accept them to call us a supplier or a provider. We always tease we use it with humor, but we tell them, no, we are a partner. It's either we recognize us as a partner or we don't work together. We are not a traditional consultant as a supplier. The specifications are negotiated before the intervention research. This is what makes it scientific. We don't adapt every single morning our research protocol. So this is why this is not traditional consulting. We assess periodically the evolution of practices and performance. This is also something that is very important in our partnerships with organizations to have access to their performance, to their KPIs, and also to have to open to us the discussion to assess practices and the new practices. And this is important to ensure internal and external validity. And I think this goes back to the generic contingency principle. We don't want only to respect our engagement towards the organization, but toward also the external environment to have solid knowledge and scientific knowledge. And this is a slide that I presented in Copenhagen, Academy of Management Copenhagen in July, and I thought you might like it. What is the contribution of SEAM to other OD theories? So it's a systemic and a self-financed change. So usually when they ask, how much does it cost? What are your fees? We always answer, this is negative price. This is the first time you will see it on the market. It's negative. It's just an advance of cash flow that you need to give us, but the cash flow will be back soon and higher. It's qualimetrics. So it's not purely qualitative or purely quantitative. We use hybrid methods to integrate human variables. We mix qualitative and quantitative data to better grasp human and organizational complexity, because this is all about understanding and making understandable the organizational complexity. And this is not to create a new debate here, but we are challenged a lot with our clients with the power of AI and how SEAM and AI will work together. And we are talking about human potential as a way to create more engagement, more ownership, and more self-management control for social and economic prosperity. So this is the main purpose of having a socioeconomic approach to change instead of technological approach to change. Technology can be part of the change, but it cannot be the change by itself. Otherwise, we believe that engagement, ownership, and performance can be at risk.
Well, thank you very much for your presentation, and we have lots more questions, so we hope you will come back another day and join us and for another hour. This has been very enlightening, and